Someone said to me, "How could you play Cheney?" And I said, "There's a little bit of Cheney in all of us. And there is and was and will always be." I'm Richard Dreyfuss, and this is my career timeline, and it's all true. Because I have no secrets, okay? I'm 9 years old, and we've just moved from New York, and my mother is in the kitchen, and I say to her, "I want to be an actor." And she said, "Don't just talk about it." And I got up and went down to the local Jewish community center and auditioned for a part. And although I didn't get the part I wanted, I did get cast in that show. Really without a break of any kind, I proceeded to work as an actor at the Jewish Community Center for maybe 20 years. I was doing a TV show, and I was working with Richard something or other. As we were doing the scene, he fucked up a line. And I went, "Cut." You don't do that. Into the silence that was created from that faux pas, cut. Peter Tewksbury, the show's writer-director, walked over to me. He said, "You don't do that." By the time he got to the end of that sentence, I was about that big. But I never did that again.
You mean she isn't here? She said that she'd be here if we needed her.
No, she's not here.
The actor's oath. You know what the actor's oath is? Do you know how to ride a horse? Are you kidding me? I was raised in a ranch outside of Vegas. No, I don't speak Italian, and no, I don't know how to flip a rope. In those meetings, you don't tell the truth. Then, on the day that we shot all of the ranch stuff, I went up to the head wrangler and I said, "So, how do you, and he goes, "Oh, shit." He said, "This is hard. This is really hard." I knew I was doomed. And so we put the two kids on the buckboard next to me. The moment the word action was uttered, it was followed hastily by cut, 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 because they knew I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I was out of control.
She's all right. She's upset and she screamed, but it's okay now.
Shall I get the cops?
What?
I'll get the cops.
Hey, wait a minute.
First of all, every young actor in America wanted the role in The Graduate. I auditioned because all I wanted was to get to Mike Nichols. I wanted to get there. The night before I was supposed to see Mike, his office calls and says he had to fly to New York last night in order to see a young actor named Dustin Hoffman. And I could just sense myself reacting to the name Dustin Hoffman. And I knew it was like immortality went right up the back of my neck. And then he did the greatest thing in the world. Mike Nichols, who is known as a great gentleman, proved it because he offered every actor who ever auditioned for that part another part in the movie. And that's where "Shall I Call the Cops? I'll Call the Cops" came in.
All right, boys, you can all go back to your rooms now.
Well, say goodbye to your stepdaddy.
My first film role was in a film called The Young Runaways and directed by a man named Dreyfuss. I had to be outfitted in an asbestos suit. The costumer did a half hour on short actors, you know. Humphrey Bogart, Dustin Hoffman. After a half hour of this, I said, "Excuse me, are you trying to tell me that I'm short?" And I couldn't wait to get back to tell my best friends about this crazy costumer. And I did. I went to Rob Reiner, Carl Borak, and Albert Brooks. And I went, "I have the funniest story to tell." At that moment, I realized for the first time that I was short. I didn't know how to handle this. I still don't. I'm in therapy for the longest time. But we made friends with it. I can sincerely tell you that I tried desperately to get out of that one because I had done a film in Canada called The Apprenticeship of Diddy Kravitz. I turned Steven down, and he said, "Why?" I said, "Because this is going to be a bitch to shoot, and I'm really lazy." And then I saw Diddy Kravitz for the first time, and I said to myself, if somehow this film is sold in the United States, I will never work again. I had to get that behind me. And so I just did what every normal human would do. I begged for the part on my knees. And then Steven gave it to me. And Steven said, we had to deal break another actor out of the film. I felt like shit. I got the role and then acted it as well as I could. And that made me a something. I wasn't a star, but I wasn't not a star. I knew that Steven was known at that time as the uncrowned prince of Hollywood. I wrote a piece for one of his tributes that said, there is a man who is a film director in Hollywood, and I spent a summer with him. I watched a young director to be turned from a boy into a man during the shooting of that film. I watched this guy accrue authority and accrue confidence, and it was amazing, and it was so subtle. He told me how to shoot Jaws without one interesting shot. There is not one shot in the film that stands up, but the story will hit you right between the eyes, and you will never, ever forget that experience. Steven told me towards the end of the shoot of Jaws what his next film was going to be about. I knew if I didn't get this part, I was going to get grim. I walked by Steven's office every day and badmouthed every actor in Hollywood. Only time I ever did that. And I said, Pacino has no sense of humor. De Niro's crazy. Finally, after weeks of that, he looked up at me and said, you got the part. It was only the only film I'd ever done or could conceive of doing that was as filled with potential and greatness as that film was. That part will outlive us all.
So what's the deal, huh? I mean, I got a lease here in my pocket. You gonna honor it or what?
I got a phone call to read another script called The Goodbye Girl. It was what happened in real life to Dustin Hoffman when he was not trying to prove how terrible his life was. Really, apparently all happened. I thought it was hysterically funny. 3 weeks later, we were in rehearsal, and we rehearsed by reading the script in the morning and reading the script in the afternoon and doing it all over again the next day. We became intimately familiar with that script. Then the next week, we were introduced to the complete set of The Goodbye Girl, which was true down to the ashtrays. True. And nothing was as brilliantly conceived as that set. And then we finished this movie, and then we got praised. My agent calls and says, you've been nominated for Best Actor. I've been nominated for... And I said, who else was nominated? And he said, Woody Allen, John Travolta, Marcello Mastroianni, and Richard Burton. And I said, I'm gonna win. It was the happiest moment of my life.
Real empire. Nobody will fuck with us again.
Someone said to me, how could you play Cheney? And I said, there's a little bit of Cheney in all of us. And there is and was and will always be. I didn't have to go very far because I knew he was right here, right there. And I didn't have to be persuaded. I had been part of the crowd all within me, and I could pick and choose the appropriate character. Everyone has Mahatma Gandhi, and everyone has Dick Cheney. No kidding.
Where is my son?
If she paid the ransom, he'd be here by now.
Daughter of the Wolf was a part where I got to play a truly psychopathic, completely, utterly insane, bestial killer. So much fun. I have a theory about where you find actors like that. And it's always that you find them right inside yourself.
Is my son?
I'm sitting on a set for Bewitched. I'm nervous. And I'm saying to myself, why are you nervous? You've made your case that this is going to be it for the rest of your life. Why are you nervous? I then got up, walked over to the lens, and I leaned in and said, I like you. I want you to like me. I have no other ambition. This is it. And I leaned in and blow-kissed a kiss. I was never nervous again. I don't know why, but I became overnight 10 times the actor I had been